All right, so here's the, excuse me. This is the website that I use to go to it, but it's still the same. Sometimes when I go to Zip Forms Plus, it just doesn't work for me. So you can either go to texasrealestate.com here. And ultimately it's gonna get you into Zip Forms Plus. And this is right, that's why it says Zip Form Plus, but they're the same. Let me know if y'all able to log in. Having any trouble?
Y'all better talk back to Lisa. Lisa won't hear y'all.
Yeah, I be anti-virtual, so y'all don't interact virtual. Y'all, we gonna have to come in this office.
Lisa ain't gonna do no more virtual training for y'all. Y'all talk to her.
Please, I like to interact. So let me know when y'all all up, we're gonna walk through it. Or everybody who can get in. Has everyone ever logged into this before?
Yes.
Okay. Rod Dixon.
As long as you come.
Hello. You there?
Yes, I'm here, Lisa. I'm here.
Hey, Rod. Have you ever logged on?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Before?
Yeah, that's what I use. Zipform.
All right, awesome. All right, so we here. Okay, so Zipform, it's really a way to it houses all your client transactions, as you can see. It has all the track documents, pretty much all the documents for real estate, necessary for real estate in here. All the templates, if you want to send your client the 1 to 4 for them to sign it, this is what you do, electronic signature through here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off first. So all of these are different transactions. So once you have multiple transactions, you'll see them down here. I like the way Michael put them because I do it the same way. But you can actually, when you start off a transaction, I noticed that he put the address in versus doing the client. So you have the option of using the client's name and doing multiple forms under that client's name, and you'll see their name right here. Or you can do multiple forms under different addresses, and that seems to be, you do.
Yeah, don't get caught up in mine. Mine is all antiquated. It's old.
It's still another way.
And then now remember, mine was set up to utilize a virtual assistant. So that was instructions and stuff. So you tell them what to do, Lisa.
I'm telling them, I'm giving them the 2 options because I use it a little differently.
Don't even make that an option.
So that's okay.
Can we ask your options as far as putting the property versus the actual name? Why the differentiation?
I do the client's name because if you have a client that wants to put in multiple offers, then all the information is already there. But as far as it being something, it may.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the reason that I ended up doing the addresses is because when I first got into real estate, I originally got it when me and Brooks formed it. I was responsible for listings. So a lot of my zip forms was used with listing clients. So I used the address because, you know, my client was the address. It wasn't buyer. I wasn't working with buyers.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So depending on what your business is and how you want to put it in here. So that makes perfect sense. So let's use the address. Buyers use the buyer name because it could, and out here right now, multiple listings is the thing. That's the trend. So we definitely want to cut your time because you're going to need to do multiple offers at some point. It's just been what's going on. All right, let me see. I'm working with Michael's zip form. So y'all bear with me just a minute. Let me see what we got. Where your so if I click, when I click in here, I want to see the forms.
Okay.
That one?
Commercial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, y'all. Everybody logged in though? Everything okay with everybody's login?
You trying to get to the forms?
Yeah.
Yes.
Click here.
Okay, maybe I'll just start. Never mind. Okay, so what we're gonna do, y'all, the first thing we're gonna do is we're working on a transaction. So you're gonna click on the transaction tab. And once you click on the transaction tab, you're gonna click right here where it says new. And let me know, y'all, if anything is going on where you're not with the rest of us, okay? So
okay,
go ahead.
So once I log in, right, where am I going? The zip forms, right?
Yeah, you see, once you log in, you should see right here where it says dashboard, forms. You probably logged in and it's on the dashboard. Like it looks like this.
Mm.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's the screen.
That's the screen, okay. You see where it says create transaction right here?
No, I had the screen before the home. Oh, zip. Okay, no, I got you.
Logged out now.
Okay, we good.
Okay, hold on. I was trying to go back and I'm logged out. And please excuse my voice. Normally not this deep, but I am a avid baseball person, and my team was about to lose 18-3. And I feel like I'm the sixth man on the bench, so I get to yelling, and that's what happened. And they won 44.
Average fan for who?
So
Inspiring.
yeah, I try to. So I don't have no voice right now. Okay.
You say you're average fan for who?
Oh, my daughter plays AAU ball, so that's my team.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, it was AAU ball. So I'm the parent that's yelling in the bleachers, and I have a really loud mouth, and I just, defense, I'm a D up person. I'm telling them to D up all the time. That's why I don't have a voice.
Rod is a referee.
Oh, okay. All right, Ron. So you hear my voice again. I be on y'all.
Absolutely.
Yes, loud and clear. Yeah.
All right, so you know who I am, then. I never get into it with you. I'm always the one trying to pull.
More than likely.
All right. Got everybody got the screen on right now? No? Yes? Maybe so?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So Jamal, we should be on transactions.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Click on new. And for the sake of everybody assuming most of y'all have buyers right now, we'll go through the new purchase for a buyer because we're trying to put we're doing the 1 to 4 contract. So we'll do new purchase, and this is for buyers. So you have, that's for listings. We have new purchases or offers are for buyers. New leases are for exactly that, leases. All right. Once you click on it, enter the name. So I'm gonna just enter test buyers, but everybody else put your client name here. Scroll to where you see it's a residential, if it's residential or condominium or commercial or land, farm and ranch, farm and ranch, residential, condominium. Those are the main 3 that you would use. But definitely the residential, the one we're going over right now, is for the buyer on a resale property. Because we don't even use this for new construction. So this is only for resales, houses that have existed or have been on, maybe sitting there from 2020 and never sold. This is what you would use. Not resale. That was right. Okay. Okay. All right. So status down here is active. And this right here is really a good option, but we won't go into it today, but it's a My Template option. And if you go into Zip Forms, you can actually set it up to where you put all your forms together. So if you have a buyer, you can name the file buyer and then apply all the documents necessary for a buyer. Or you can, of course, a listing, you can do the same. And then all you have to do is click on template. And then those templates and those documents that you set in the template will automatically come into your transaction. So we can walk through that. Anybody want to go through that? We definitely can later. All right, I'm trying to get to that part right there. All right, so once you've already put the name in there, you put the residential, you have it active, click on save. So that's gonna take you to this screen. I think, yeah, we're gonna need all of that. So I think this is gonna be the best place because we're gonna need this over here for the form. All right, so we have basically the MLS number. Do we have HAR? So what you would need to have open on your screen is gonna be HAR. You're gonna need HAR open because you need to know about the property. Are you already logged in? You want me to remember passwords on the fly today?
My stuff's automatic.
Okay, good. All right, so log into HAR because we're gonna need it.
You know they don't like being called it HAR.
I don't like being called no realtor too, but people still seem to say that, so hey. But yeah, it's HAR officially because for training purposes, HAR. All right, so we're gonna have to look up and enter into the matrix, not the matrix. All right, get rid of all of those. Let's find us a property that's on the market right now, real quick. Hot sheet. New listings, where we go? All right, we're just gonna pick a random one. McGregor Place. That's the hottest place in Houston.
Yeah, baby.
Man, you ever get your client to say anything about 77021, jump all over it and call me. I got it. I can help you. That's my spot. All right, so we're gonna work with 5234 Pamandar Road, Pomandar Road. That's, am I saying it right, y'all? I'm country. All right, so put all of that information. We're gonna go back to the zip forms. And see, this is where you put the address, the city. Guess I need to be doing that. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me to navigate. Oh, that ain't it. What's that? What is this? Can I get rid of that part? This right here. Because I'm gonna do tabs so I can go back and forth.
All right, and this right here.
Yeah, that's just so start filling in the information as you see it. So put the address in, the zip code, and that's gonna help you with all of your the following documents as far as you not having to fill that out again.
I went to go do a showing today and they asked me for my MLS number. Where can I find that?
That's your login to HAR. So they're asking you for your showing code. So whatever you use to log into HAR as your username is what they're asking you for. Not your MLS number. I don't know who that is. They ask you.
I don't know.
That person don't know what they're talking about. So yeah, they ask you the showing code. So the information that you use to log into HAR is your showing code. So when you call and ask to show a property, they're gonna ask you for your showing code. They may call it an MLS name or something, I guess. User ID?
They did. And so I didn't know what they were looking for. So I gave my driver's license. They asked for it instead.
Now everything gonna be to real estate. So it's never gonna be like your back in the day and in training, they used to be heavy on driver's licenses and sending that to people and coming to your actual real estate brick and mortar office and making a copy and then taking your client out. So if you're talking to an old school agent, that may be what they're referring to, but we don't do all of that anymore. We just, you know, call your person who's supposed to be looking out for you when you go somewhere. But I think that's what they were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So did y'all see what I did? I was talking and forgetting that I was talking to y'all about what I was doing. So once I put the address in there, are y'all on this page? Once you put the address and start typing in the address,
yes,
are coming up and auto-populating. And so once I put it in there, it auto-populate, I clicked on it, and the screen came up. So all my information for that property, because it's in the MLS, came up in zip forms because they communicate. All right, so we have 5234 Pomander This is the zip code here. You can put all this information in here if you like, in order for it to populate into the form. And where you get that from. So right now, the only thing that looked like it didn't auto pop was the MLS number and subdivision. So I'm gonna go with subdivision. So I'm gonna bounce back and forth between hard. So subdivision, let me see. Hold on, y'all, bear with me. Let me get these two screens up.
Hey, Lisa, you said that HAR and zip forms talk.
Yes, they
You have-
pay on a one-way
like
from
an-
hard to zip forms, not vice versa, just from one. So you're able to pull up MLS information from, if it's active in hard, or pull up in your zip forms. But zip forms
Okay.
communicate with HAR, HAR. Okay, so that's how I was able to find that address that's active. All right, so this is in the McGregor Place section 2. So that's where you would get your subdivision. You can copy, Control C, go back to your subdivision, Control V will get that populated into that. Or you can just copy paste, however y'all do it. But I do a Control C on the name and then a Control V to paste it. Paste it. All right, so that's all I'm gonna do right there, but that's pretty much an area that you can pre-populate. A lot of information is gonna go into the contract, but for training purposes today, we're gonna do it manual. All right, so once you're done there, it's automatically saving as you go, so you don't really have to save anything. Now we're gonna go where it says documents. All right, under documents, we don't have anything because we hadn't even pulled any documents into our file. So where you find your documents for the 1 to 4 contract is over here where it says all forms. And as soon as you pull it up, I love the technology has been updated because we used to have to search for all these things. So now they have the most common used documents right here, ready and available. Say if there is a document that you cannot find, the best thing for you to do is change this option right here to all and start searching different names and what different track numbers and things like that. But right now they have them already preset, so I'm loving that. And we're gonna look for the 1 to 4. All you gotta do is click on it and it populates right over here. We also gonna do the property is subject to mandatory homeowners, mandatory member in a owners association. So that's the HOA. So let's go back to HAR real quick to see if our property is in the HOA. 9 times out of 10, it may be, most likely. So where you find if it's in a HOA is down in this area. I don't think McGregor Estates has a HOA. They tried, but they wasn't able to be successful. Those people like to control their area, their big old houses and all their land.
Hey, Lisa, it's Rod.
Mm-hmm.
For some strange reason, when I go to forms,
Mm-hmm.
it's all forms. There's nothing there. It won't. Even when I just did try 1 to 4 family and did a search, nothing is popping up.
That means that something in
That's strange.
membership is not linking over to Trek. I've ran across that a few times. Right there, you see where it says Texas Realtors, you say you click on all and it's still not there?
Yeah, even when I did all, click on that, I click all, only thing that's there is all. There's nothing else.
Yeah. Is he a member of HL?
You're a member of HAR?
Yeah, of course.
He has to be if he was able to log on.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so something with the membership, possibly calling, because that's definitely related to that. If you're not able to get into here and nothing is coming up,
Who is that? They said
that's Ron.
Well, he said he used it before.
You have used it before, Ron?
Yeah, that's the weird part about it.
I need to call him.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
definitely.
strange.
I had a number for him, but it should be, there you go,
He
right?
may
No, that ain't it.
browser.
A different browser?
Yeah, he may want to try a different browser.
Okay,
Okay.
so I'm using Chrome here,
Well, yeah, I am in Chrome, so
and then
that's
on,
strange.
it definitely is strange, so, but yeah, they probably the only ones it's some type of communication error that's not working, but I have seen that before, and they can fix it for you.
Okay, no problem. I'll follow
Okay.
along. Now.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, anybody else? Everybody else was able to click on all forms, get the 1 to 4 tied in to their transaction area documents. So
Yes.
we're also gonna do the mandatory addendum for property subject to homeowners. That's the HOA. I'm sorry, we're not gonna do that one. So McGregor Estates is not in a HOA, but you would normally pull that document over, okay? So we're gonna pull it over, but we won't have any information from HOA for McGregor Estates, but we'll find some houses in one. And then you want the third-party financial addendum. So we actually have to search for that one, because I don't see it here in the list. Oh, yes, here it is. All right, so third-party financial addendums already all the way at the bottom. All right, so you have those 3. And this is how your screen should look. All right, we're gonna click on the 1 to 4 contract. All right, so 1 to 4 residential family contract for resale. Parties, parties are the people involved in the transaction, the buyer and the seller. So right here, you're gonna put the seller's name. And then on the next line, you'll put the buyer's name. To find out the seller's name, I go to the tax records. Anybody else do anything different? Okay, I go to the tax record. To get to the tax record, you go to HAR, or you can go to HCAD or Fort Bend, CAD.org. So wherever the property is located. This one is in Harris County. So right here, the tax account number will take you to the tax information. So you can either go through HAR or you can go to HCAD. And HCAD is just the County Appraisals District Office for you to get the information for who filed the deed in the tax department. That's basically what that is. So for the sake of the transaction today, we're gonna use Casey Murphy and Shane Murphy. All right, so the first person's name, exactly how it appears, because these are government documents. They wanted to show, kind of match up. You want to put Casey first. And then on the second line, you put Shane. Full name as it appears on the tax roll. Because they're going to sign these documents at title, so they have to be exactly the same. Sometimes title will come back and say something's different. All right, so those 2 names, once you click out of that box, those 2 names appear right here. See? All right, and that's under seller. So that's just an extension of this part of the contract right here, seller. So now we're gonna do buyer. Buyer is your client, who you're working with. I usually also use caps in this thing because it just, once it starts, you start looking at it for your eye purposes, it just gets a little easier to use all caps, but whatever your preference is. Everybody following along so far?
For the buyers, would that be full name as well? Or does that not
Yes.
matter right now?
Full name, yeah, driver's license, full name. And if it's multiple years, you put whoever's name first, but doesn't matter. All right, so once you have that, and then I put second buyer, just in case. So we have. All right, so those 2 names appear at the top. So that's parties, everyone who is involved in the purchase, the ownership and purchase of the property, the said property in question. Then we go to number 2 for property. And this is where you actually can get the lot and block information into the contract. You see where we already pre-populated McGregor Place from the first page. The address is already coming up. So that's the benefit of already having things preset, because you don't have to fill that out. So all we have to worry about right now is the lot and block. To get the lot and block, you can go right back to the tax roll. You're already there. I usually take a picture of this with my phone so I don't have to bounce back and forth, but whatever, you know, whatever makes your day easy. So we got to go find the lot. Am I going to be in somewhere we don't have a lot? McGregor. Here, okay, so lot number, block number. Y'all see that? 17 is a lot, 6 is a block. And then that's all we have to do there. So this is really important that this is filled out correctly because it has to do with how the property itself was plotted, is how they recorded in the tax office. All of these things need to be correct. Title probably won't let you get past them if it's not correct. They will send it back and say this contract and anything on here needs to be adjusted for the purposes of filing, for the purposes of the sale, and then for them to file. All right.
Hey, Lisa, quick question. This is Rod again.
Mm-hmm.
Can't we simply go to the fast fill and put all that information in there so it can auto-populate as well?
I'm not sure what a fast fill is. I don't know what that part right there. I haven't used it.
Yeah.
Have used it. That's another way to do it.
Okay.
Has a training. I know they have a lot of trainings on here for you to, you know, utilize shortcuts and things like that. So if you have used that, that's a good note. Everybody look into fast fill. There's a way to cut some time off your time. And it's really good if you have a customer want to do multiple transactions. Hey, Matilda.
Hey.
How you doing? Okay, yeah, thank you, thank you. I was about to, okay, I got sidetracked. Y'all gotta call me tight. If y'all saw the paint, y'all wanna talk about it too, it's gorgeous. All right, so let's go down. So B, improvements, we really don't have anything to fill in there, but you definitely wanna read it so you can understand what all is talking about. Exclusions, the following improvements and accessories will be retained by seller and must be removed prior to the delivery of possession. So what D really represents is that if you go into a house and say they have a TV on the wall and they know that it's going to disturb the structure of the property when they get ready to remove it, they're going to put it right here that, hey, don't get happy about this TV you're seeing. We're going to take this with us. So this is where they start to put different things on there and say they're going to remove like a fixture or chandelier or something like that. Not a lot of room here. So sometimes they'll put it on a different addendum. But that's basically what that's for. They're just letting you know exclusions. Don't think the pool table's staying. I know it's in the wall and it's stuck to it, but we're taking it with us. Any questions? Y'all know I'm under pressure with 2 brokers in here. I hope I'm saying everything right. I know this one right here would tell me, huh?
Man, you
Okay.
have no idea.
Okay, got it. All right, so I don't need to be nervous no more. I know I'm gonna be cut off real quick if I'm doing something wrong. All right, so number 3, sales price. Cash portion of the sales price to the buyer. This is the part of what the buyer is going to bring to the table. Usually if they got an FHA loan, they're going to be bringing 3% of the loan. That's pretty much the cash portion from the buyer, even if the buyer going to write a check. That's just saying cash portion. So for the sake of this training, we're going to look at the price of the house and we're going to get the 3% down, whatever the 3% is, y'all. Hold on, I'm unlocking my phone. So we have 269,500 and 3% of that. Dang, is that right? What did y'all come up with? Because I came up with 80 something. That ain't right.
I got $8,000,
Okay.
85, whatever.
$8,085. Okay, that's right. I got that. All right. So we're gonna put that portion in there because what we're gonna do is we're gonna say we're gonna give them a full price offer. 9 times out of 10 right now, that's the way the market is going. But if you weren't putting in a full price offer, I'll show you how that adds up right here in just a moment. So we're gonna put $8,000, $8,085. That's the 3%. So as you can see, it auto-populates down here. So then say your client has a pre-approval. The pre-approval amount is gonna go, the amount of the Say your client has a pre-approval. They're gonna use a financial institution to finance the property. The third-party financial addendum is what's gonna be necessary. And so you check that box right here. And then you put in the amount really, which is the difference of the $8,085 and the total price of the property. So the house is $269,500, and you want to basically subtract the $8,085 and put that number right there. And so what you're doing is you're just adding up to the full price, asking price of the property. Now, if you're going in lower, these numbers will be adjusted. Say your client wants to go in $5,000 less, you would put $5,000 less than the asking price and it will add up. So right now, this is the asking price, excuse me. But say they wanted to go less, you would just modify this number to make it less. Did I make it less? Yeah. So that's less by 1,000. Any questions? All right. All right, so there's our total. Right now, we're giving this client full asking price for this property. All right, number 4, license holder disclosure. So license holder disclosure means that if there is a realtor involved in the transaction on either the buyer or seller side that you know of, because in HAR, they must put that in there. This is where you would say that. Is that correct?
What was the statement?
License holder disclosure right here. This is where you would say if there's another party involved.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct, Lisa.
Okay.
Yeah,
Basically. Okay, so usually if on the seller side, say the seller is a realtor, in HAR, they have to actually disclose that in the description. They can also say they are, a relative of the seller. The seller is a realtor and they're a relative. Just anytime that there may be a conflict legally way down the line because somebody was involved on the seller side, that was a realtor, they must disclose that. And this is where that would be right here. All right, so number 5 is the earnest money. Within 3 days after the effective date of the contract, the buyer must deliver this amount to this escrow officer at this address, and that's it. So what you have to do is it's usually 1% of the total asking price. This is not locked in stone. It's whatever you and your seller might agree to, but typically we do 1% for the earnest money. So that is, what is that? 2690. Okay, so that's $2,690. Whenever you're about to put in a contract on an offer, you want to call or contact the seller's agent because they're going to give you their title company. They used to allow us to put that in HAR in the notes, but unfortunately, there's a lot of trickery going on where people were lying about title companies and things like that, and money was getting lost. So now you actually have to speak with the seller's agent yourself, get that information. You really can't write an offer without that information because most seller agents want to choose the title company. So you have the escrow officer at said title company is Linda Title. That's her name. I'm sorry, Linda Officer. I'm gonna put officer on there. Spelling. All right. Okay, if I could spell officer, I might be all right. Maybe I'll just use agent. All right. Y'all spell officer, because I'm not getting it. Spell it. Okay, so everybody don't know how to spell officer. I don't feel bad no more. Okay, agent.
Oh,
Linda. Good. Linda, agent. All right, and she's at address, title company, Pearland Title Company. That's just the address. All right, so then that's all you need right there. Then at the bottom, number 6, who's paying for the title? Traditionally, buyers pay for it, but it's whatever you negotiate for your buyer. So right now, sellers pay for it, but whatever you negotiate for your buyer is great. So we're gonna put right now the seller's paying for it, and they're gonna use Patriot Title. So that's title policy. Seller shall furnish to buyer at seller's expense an owner's policy of title insurance issued by Patriot Title Company in the amount of the sales price. And so the point of the title policy is pretty much how I feel why we make the seller pay for it, is because it's kind of relieving them of the responsibility. So why do you make them pay for it?
Well, normally they do. It's negotiable, but normally the seller pays for the title policy.
I've always just wondered why they agree to it. Why they say they're gonna do it.
Because as realtors, we sit down with them and tell them that that's normal.
That's what they're gonna do. We just tell them that's what they're gonna do. So that's why they're gonna do it, John. All right. So from there, we're on the next page of 10. And if you notice at the top, the address populates that we've already put in there. So that's great. These things right here, you really don't have any executables in there, but definitely read them to get familiar with the terminologies and terms and things this form has in here. So right here, we're still under the title policy. We're still talking about title right now. So we're still under number 6. So now what we're asking for is, it says, number 8, the standard print exception as to the discrepancies, conflict, shortages, areas, or boundary lines, encroachments, or protrusions, or overlapping improvements. Whew. So what they're saying is, if there's a conflict in any way that has to do with this property, once the title starts to run all of the things that they're going to run to find out if there's anything going on, any discrepancies, they're going to come back and ask, who's going to pay for it if we find something? So that's basically what that's saying. Who's going to pay for it? If we find it, will it be amended? Will not be amended or deleted from title policy if we find something. If we do find something, it will be amended to read shortages in area at the expense of who. So that's what that's for. If your client says, if your client says, I don't care what happens, I want the property, then you go ahead and click this option right here. If your client says, no, I want to be on the safe side because it looks like that sidewalk on the side is shared by the neighbor, and if they find out that now it's a shared property, I want it to be in the title before I buy it. So that's when you decide who wants to pay for it, the buyer or the seller. What you put on there? You put buyer or seller? Who you have?
I always put the buyer. I put the seller.
Still,
Seller?
Whenever you're working with the buyer, I always make sure that you go pro buyer everything. So sellers should be paying for everything. Now, if it comes back to negotiating, then that's when you look at that. And in a market like we're in right now, it could be a good negotiation tool to get your client's contract accepted if you put that they're going to pay for something like that. But you got to know your client's bottom line. But when I do this part of the contract, I always put the seller going to pay for it.
So we just gonna buy. I like what he said, pro buyer, because you represent the buyer. That's your person. That's who you're looking out for. Of course, once you start talking to the seller's agent and they say they don't want to do it, that's when you go back to your buyer and say, hey, I tried this part right here. We're going to go ahead and pay for this, or decide that we're not going to amend it at all. Okay. Don't never lose a deal over that part. All right. So now we're going to scroll down. We're done. Let's see. right, so that's still buyer. So number C, survey. Everybody know what a survey is? Y'all seen surveys in class? The cute little drawings of the property? You remember those? It's like not the cute drawing of the property, but the outline. I remember seeing that. That's the survey. It was the outline of the property. Excuse the outline of the perimeters of the property. So that's a little drawing, all kind of different things on there, show you what's, you know, where you can't put different things on the property, where the property starts and stops, where the fence starts and stops, where the electrical and utility different encroachments are and things like that. That's what the survey shows you. So within, usually they may have that in documents under HAR. Let me see, I'm sorry. I'll find it. So under documents, this particular property doesn't have it, but the document would be right here if they have a survey. 9 times out of 10, they may not have one. You can also ask the agent at the time you're asking them about the title company, ask them if they also have a survey. If they do have the survey and you know they're gonna get it to you, you can put right here and say 3 days after the effective date of this contract, seller shall furnish to buyer and title company seller's existing survey. All right. So that's if they say you talk to them, they say they have one. If you and it's, let's see, if that existing survey is, let's see, if seller fails to furnish the existing survey or affidavit within the time prescribed, buyer shall obtain a new survey at seller's expense at no charge within 3 days prior to closing. If the existing survey or affidavit is not accepted to the title company, meaning it might be bootleg, or they don't think it's a good survey, or whatever the reason is, then at that time, the seller gonna pay for it again, or the buyer can pay for it. So we still gonna be pro buyer all day. We're gonna put on there, seller's gonna pay for it. Any questions?
Looks good. Totally agree.
All right. So if so happened that the buyer does, excuse me, the seller does not have a survey, this is where you come to option 2 and 3. And basically the only difference between these two is who's gonna pay for it and how much time. And so when they say within a certain amount of days, they mean within a certain amount of days from the contract being executed, how long does someone have to decide on this? That's basically what that means. So within, usually on the survey, I put 20.
Nah, I give them the same 7 days. 73
They got
days.
7 days?
73 days.
You put 72, Jess?
Yeah.
Okay. They hard on them, y'all. Y'all can be hard on them. We talking about, the king of real estate, just been in real estate a long time. We all got 3 different answers, so it's really up to you.
Keep them dates
But
low.
keep them low. So
How many Brooks said?
Brooke said 7. So we're going to put 7 in here today.
Keep them days low.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that too.
Okay. Survey take time sometimes. So I just like, look at 20 days before I need to know. But okay, so within 7 days after the effective date of the contract, buyer should obtain a new survey at buyer's expense. Okay. Now we pro buyer, so we're going to do 7 days seller's expense. Within 7 days after the effective date, seller's expense. That's the only 2 difference between those two, that line right there. So we're doing 7 days. He ain't playing with them.
But see, the funny
I got one in my bag.
Is that yours?
No, I just have an HP in my bag, a charger. Hold on, y'all. Technical difficulties. It's right here. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, it's right there. It's already plugged in right there. The black one. That's mine, but it's. Okay. Thank you. What were you about to say, Brooks? Mr. Brooks?
What was that question? What was you talking about?
We talking about 7 days effective for survey. We talking about survey.
Yeah, well, cause see, the thing about the survey is it's really quick. It's really a quick process because once you submit the contract to the title company, we all already asked, hey, do you currently have a survey? No, you don't. Let's get one ordered. So it's a real fast process. That's why 7 days is more than enough time.
All right, y'all got it? All right, so this one has always been a little tricky to me. So I'm glad you're here because this one right here has always been tricky in my whole real estate life. It's always been a tricky one. Objections, buyer may object in writing to defects, exceptions, encumbrance to title disclosed on the survey. Commitment, I'm gonna read, wait, disclosure in the commitment other than item 6A, which prohibit the use or activity. So basically what this is saying is that this is where you put the residential use. Only. That means that if they had a beauty shop in there, you don't want to buy it now because they have some plumbing going into the closet for a wash bowl, and that's not what you wanted to use the property for. So that's what you understand it to be?
That's what everybody used. That's what everybody put in there, right there, residential use.
Right, residential use. Buyer must object. Once, this is pretty much once you go see what was going on and it's not, hasn't been used for residential, this is where you can come back, probably a second way to get out of the contract. That's how I look at it. When I tell my clients, it's another way to secure you of being able to, if you still don't want to be in this property, it's another way for us to do it. I do 20 days. What do you do, sir?
About 7 days, 3 to 7 days. Yep, by three, go put that.
All right, so put, look, he want to put 3 in there.
Yep.
He giving them 3 days to within the, and this is all within the option period. He only giving them 7 days to give me this survey and 3 days to, I can still object to what's going on in the property. So residential use, if it's not residential use, then we can still get out of the contract. Oh, excuse me, the offering contract. All right, title notice. The only thing you really have to do here is going to be associated with the membership in the property owners association. This particular property we're using is not a part of the homeowners association. But because we're going to do a homeowner association addendum, I'm gonna put this right here because it's gonna, you have to put that on there if you're gonna use a homeowner association addendum. All right. Any questions? All right, so we won't go through all of that, but y'all read it. Just
yeah,
saying
on your
things
own
about-
time, y'all can go back and read where where the blanks are not being filled in. Y'all should go back and read it. So yeah, you're doing the right part.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So notice, I want to point out real quick, notice that there's a signature on every single page. When you get into zip forms and you go through that, you definitely need to pay attention. You put all the signatures in there because your client cannot change it or anything. So if you skip one of those, you're gonna have to resend it to your client. Been there, done that. So I just want to bring that up. All right, so now we're gonna scroll all the way down to number 7, property conditions. This is where we have the seller's disclosure. Everybody familiar with the seller's disclosure? Hello, hello. You know what it is, Matilda?
I think so.
What is it?
Let's see. So I can remember. It's just like.
It's for the seller, and the seller fills it out.
Yeah.
And it's for them to tell us, to the best of their knowledge and the truth of their ability of truth, to tell us as much as they know about the property. So if the seller, for instance, on the seller disclosure, if the property flooded, they'll put that on there. If they filed any insurance claims on the property, they'll put that on there. Any leakages, anything, any seepage, anything like that, put it on there. And if you guys don't know about that, we'll do that at a later time, but that's a good document to briefly go over. So seller's disclosure.
Let me add this.
Yes, sir.
As the buyer, as the buyer's agent, you will review that seller's disclosure with your client just to kind of have an idea of what's going on. As a seller's agent, leave that seller's disclosure alone. After they fill it out, you upload it, you make sure they signed it, and you upload it, and that's it. Don't you get too involved with that seller's disclosure.
Good advice.
Don't help them with it.
We all done been through something on this seller's disclosure. So I think that's the best advice. Don't do it. They want to sell the house.
But as a buyer's agent, make sure that you review it and you're knowledgeable about it, because that's one of the things that you need to know when it comes to that seller's disclosure. Just read through it and make sure that everything that, when your inspector goes out there, that your inspector has an opportunity to have that seller's disclosure as well for that buyer.
All right, so buyer has received notice. This means that if on HAR, they have it in this section right here, that they have a document or a seller's disclosure, that's where you would mark this right here that you have it. If they do not, buyer has not received notice, but within 3 days, they're gonna get it to you. One day, I'm thinking he's gonna probably say one day. One day, they got 1 day to get it to us from the effective day of the contract, because you want your client to be informed. So you definitely want to shorten those days.
Actually, I always go for clicking number 1 and having them send me over that seller's disclosure immediately. So once your client tells you that they like that property, you email that seller's agent, and either if they don't have it, most agents are uploading it, but if it's not, you have that agent send you over that executed seller's disclosure so you can go ahead and review it. So if there's anything, you cannot waste your time immediately. You can look over and be like, oh, okay, it's good, it's stand up. So I always do. So yeah, we should do it.
So that's a great idea. Jamal, you got a client today, and so today they have where they want him to submit in his offer by 5 today. So can y'all see?
Yes.
Y'all can still see the screen?
Uh-huh.
Okay, we just having something over here. Hold on.
Yeah, we can see it.
Let's see, do we need this? I guess we do this to be able to see them.
We can see the screen. Y'all can't see y'all on screen?
Yeah,
Okay.
just stand by for us 1 second here. We're gonna get your. Is this what? Okay, yeah,
I can see that they can see it right there.
Yeah,
So we good.
You
Okay.
see it on screen?
I can see what I'm looking at, and then I can see right that they're looking at it right here. So we good. Now my zip form's tripping. Hold on. Now my zip form's just frozen. Was there an internet glitch or something? Because now my zip form's frozen. It looked like it disconnected. So y'all basically understand those two. You got one that they're gonna give it to you right away. You can wait that out. But what I was gonna mention is Jamal has a client that wants, an agent that wants that in right away. So you can always choose that second option so that you can go ahead and get the offer in. We are in a market of multiple offers, 20, 10K, 15K over asking. It's crazy out here. So sellers are getting ready.
So you saying for me, I should check the second box?
So wait a minute, before we say yes, did you go to HAR to find out if it is available? Do they have the document on the property?
Yes, they do.
They do? Okay, so you put the one option in. Not the 1 day, but the first option, the first box.
Okay.
Okay. And then that third box is just saying that you're not gonna worry about disclosure. I can't see it right now, I'm just remembering it, but it's basically saying your client is not really concerned with the seller's disclosure, so you're waiving it. That might not be the verbiage, but that's what that box stands for.
No one in here is gonna ever waive that, so stay away from that box.
Pro buyer at all times. Number B, y'all on B right now? Seller's disclosure. All right.
7B, yes.
All right, so we're on D, I'm sorry. We stopped on D, acceptance of property as is. So what that is just saying that right now we take it as is from what we've seen. We're good with everything. If you don't want to say as is, because even if you mark this, you're still gonna go through an option period. You're still gonna go through the inspection. You're still gonna get an opportunity to come back and say, repair this, remove money off of this, or however you want to proceed with the offer. Even right here on this box, buyer accepts the property as is, provided at seller's expense, seller shall complete the following repairs. In my whole history of real estate, I wouldn't advise you going into a negotiation with this part. You want to definitely go in and say buy as is, go in and get you an option period, really determine what it is your client needs to know and don't know about the property. And then at that time, you can go back into do a repair request. Yes, ma'am. Y'all can't see it? I'm old.
No.
I'm old.
Oh, you need it like zoomed in.
I know, come in here. I know I have my mask on, but I can't put it on, but y'all put y'all's on. All right. Yeah, so y'all can see that right there. Okay, so that's what that's for. So say if it's just, you know, something that's detrimental to your buyer is not happy about it and you must put it there, put it there. But we still trying to get the contract. We still got trying to get the property. So right now, since we have other options later on, don't really, you know, worry about this option just yet. So go ahead and use buyer accepts the property as is. Scroll down. H, residential service contract. This is where you would offer them a home warranty. I never submit a contract. I never submit an offer without a home warranty because again, we're pro buyer. So we want them to be able to have some type of warranty going into the property. A lot of people say it's not really a great warranty, but I look at it like it's $99 for someone to come out and service something and let you know if it's fixable or not. That way you're not just paying some random plumber to come out and charge you $350. This is saying this is going to be paid by the seller. Okay. So the average cost, the minimum cost is $550. And that is American Home Shield. We have those, I think we have pamphlets here. We're also going to have someone come out and train on home warranties, but this is where you put this. This is strictly for the home warranty. Seller is paying for it, not an option. Not an option for buyer. I have negotiated in the past where this is a deal breaker for some people, and the agent and I have discussed splitting it. I mean, hey, real estate is real estate. You're trying to get a deal done over $550 and you waiting on a $4,000, $8,000 commission check. I advise you do what you got to do. All right. All right. So right here.
So we're gonna put 550 in there.
Huh?
So what's the amount we're putting in there?
550. Can y'all see? Can you see?
Okay.
All right. So closing, number 9. I'm gonna address the broker's fee just because I know your client may ask about it. And this is right here, you know, just let your client know the whole explanation of you work for a broker, you work on his behalf, you represent him in every transaction. And that's basically what that's saying is that there is a broker fee, but it really has nothing to do directly with this transaction. It's just a FYI, okay? So just in case your client looking at that. Closing, this is the part that the closing of the sale will be on or before. So kind of, you look at the pre-approval for this. Your client has a pre-approval for the amount of the house, but the approval is saying that they need 30 days to process everything. That's where you would count out 30 days. Exactly. Now, if you're trying to win a contract, you want to definitely put within the amount of time. So say today was February 24th. And you want to be awarded the contract really fast. Sometimes you can definitely put on there, even if the pre-approval says it's going to take 45 days. This is the most important thing just to kind of look at when you're putting it in. You can do the 30 days. You can also call the financial institution and ask them, can you do it in 25? Just in case we're talking about March 3rd right now, and they want to close before April 1st. That's what I was about to say. So say they want to close before April 1st. You have to call, find out your financial institution, ask them, can you close within 28 days instead of 30 days so I can win this contract? Okay, but typically it's 30 days. I think they can do it in 28 from what I've been seeing what they do. They can just start on the process faster. All right. So we're going to put March 31st on here because we're trying to get the contract. All right. Possession. Buyer possession. Seller shall deliver to buyer possession of the property in its presence or required condition, ordinarily wear and tear, except we always want when we close, we want the property. Upon closing and funding. According to the temporary residential lease, which means that if after you close, the seller decides that they need 2 more weeks after you close to be in that house. I already know if Larry Brooks was here, he would say that's not an option. I want to let you know right now, you definitely don't want that happening because then so many other things could take into place. And, you know, it's your client's property right now, but somebody else is living in it. You just basically told your client, you're going to have a lease. You have a lease now for a property that you just paid $269,000 for. Yeah. You ain't doing that. All right. So not an option, only option. Let's go down. Special provisions. So the special provisions just means that if there is anything extra that you want to put on here, what do you put on here just by default for special provisions? Yeah, okay. So by default, it's gonna be NA. I've really never had to put anything here, y'all, to be honest. In 6 years, I ain't never had to put nothing there. So if there's any extra, something that needs to be there, this never came back for me. But NA is fine. Put something right there. Definitely put NA there because you don't want anybody filling that in. So definitely put NA right there. Settlement and other expenses. The following expense must be paid prior to the closing. Number one, expenses payable by seller. This is your concessions area. Y'all know concessions. So if we're trying to get the property in today's market, you know, we're pro buyer. So if your buyer is asking for cash back, let them know. In today's market, people are offering way more, but I will do what you say because I work for you. So if they want $2,500 back off the sale of the property, that's where you would put it. If they want any money back from the seller. Read the rest, scroll to page 7 of 10. There is nothing here you want to put. You definitely don't want to give them none of your buyer information. And most likely sometimes these auto populate. So I go back and delete them, but that's just buyer and seller information. I never ever fill that part out. The next section is agreement of parties. So this just means all the documentation that's going to go along with that's related to the property. So we're going to click on third party financial addendum. If the property was built back in or earlier than 1970, you would do the addendum for seller disclosure information on lead-based paint. If you are able to, if this is a backup offer, you may do that one. But other than that, we're just gonna mark third party financial addendum and addendum for property subject to mandatory membership. So those are just the two supporting documents of this file. So they'll know to look for some other files, some other documents and forms. Any questions? All right, termination option. This is your option fee area right here. So it's just saying the nominal consideration, the receipt of which is hereby acknowledged by therefore thou that there. So buyer agrees to pay seller. Usually this is based on, I would say traditionally a 25-day charge. So that's how you can kind of guide it and tell your client, you know, if you want 10 days, you're gonna have to pay $250. If they want 7 days, then you just do 25 a day. But this is also determined by the seller's agent. They may say, my client wants $400 for you to see this property for 2 days. You want the property, you just got to go with it. It's unreasonable, but the ball is in their court. That's why everybody want to be a listing agent. So, but I always try to get your client 7 days for sure. 10 days if they're out of town, or if they want some extra inspections besides just a regular home inspector. If they want a pool inspector, a termite inspector, they want someone to come and look at some pillars and beams because it's a house in Galveston, go ahead and put 10 days out. This is also a negotiation tool, and let the client know, hey, my client already loves the house. We see everything you did. We just want 4 days. We want to hurry up and get it done. This is also a section where once you're under contract and your client has utilized their option fee time and they only needed 3 days and they absolutely very sure they want to go ahead and get the property, you can call everybody in the title company and tell them to go ahead and start processing it. We don't need the whole 10 days. It doesn't change the contract verbiage and what we filled out, but it does let them to know to go ahead and start processing for everything so we can see if we can close before the 1st. Okay. Any questions? No. Okay. So right here, it says the option fee will be credited. There's no option for it won't be. Option will be, option will not. We always check it will, we pro buyer, that's what we're doing. Our client at the end of the sale will have this $250 applied to the total amount of the house. Other than that, if your client decides after the 10 days they don't want to proceed with the contract, then the next step is to go ahead, and what'll happen is they will keep that 250. So you always advise your client, hey, it doesn't hurt for us to put in a contract, but the only option going to be is that you may lose this amount right here, whatever's there. So that's the only risk your client takes at this moment, because you're under contract. You told them we want 10 days as a layaway period. After the layaway period, that's when we're going to proceed. Any questions? Why you ain't got no questions? Okay. Oh, well, thank you. I like interaction. So, okay. Executed. So what's going to happen, this is actually filled in by the seller's agent. After you send it over to your buyer to have them sign it, then you send it to the seller's agent. She has her client sign it, and then she puts in here the date that they signed. That's the executed date. Okay? Any questions?
How long do they have to get it back in?
Is it 3 days, Jess? To return the offer, to counter or decline? Is it 3 days? I used to know that answer. Like when you submit an offer,
And they've executed
how
that.
on, and they, oh wait, huh? Not if they executed. Oh. I don't, okay, y'all, if I'll put it in the group me if there's a difference other than the 3 days. So I'll research that and get back to y'all on that. What exactly time, but Ellen, what you're asking is after it's executed? Okay. Oh shoot, you want the money and just give me change or what? Later? Okay. All right, we'll figure it out. All right, I'll text you later. Okay. Y'all, I'm gonna show you this picture before we get offline. Dylan, can you grab the picture? I want to show. I'm sorry, y'all. She just did such a great job. It's me all the way. All right, so the executed part right here is basically the seller's agent sending you back the signatures of the buyers and the sellers, and you having the contract. That's basically what that is. Okay, got you. All right, so y'all, this is the picture we talking about that Matilda drew for me. I mean, excuse me, what painted for me. And so this is really braid hair, and this is really a chain. And so this is me on my birthday last year. And that's Malcolm X, because we share a birthday. So I'm just so proud of this, y'all. I know this ain't got nothing to do with the training, but it's so gorgeous. I had to show y'all. I was gonna give it to you. I was just
Lovely picture.
okay, so that's gorgeous. I love it. She gone now. All right, so we right here under executed. The question was, how long do they have to get back to you? Pretty much when you put in an offer, I always like to stay in communication. So once I put it in, I'll text the agent, let them know I put it in. They'll reply back. Some won't. You never know. The next day I give them, till 3 o'clock the next day. Hey, did your client like my offer? What's going on? I just try to stay, engaged as I possibly can. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's your job to just check in when you can to ask them, have you seen my offer? What's going on? Is there anything you want to tell me? Do you like it? Is there, we need to adjust, just checking in. So right here, broker information. This is all of Brooks and Davis's information right here. And that's what you would put. Are y'all familiar with where to get this information from? Everyone, anyone?
Yes.
Jamal, especially Jamal, just because we kind of need yours to go in a few minutes.
I know how to find it somehow. Trick.
Well, I'm gonna put it in here right now. So hold on, if we can rush through like that. So you got Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC. This is that's our license number of the brokerage. You are representing the buyer on this. If you were representing both, which we rarely do, but it's always possible. You would check both. But right now we're just representing on the buyer side. You will put your name here as an agent, put your license number, That's not my license number, but y'all got it. Your email address. If we have a supervisor, I don't believe we do. No, we don't. You put the address to the company, 2600 South Loop West Suite 310. And the zip code 77045. All right, so right here, this is a listing broker firm. So we don't have it up anymore. HAR's not up anymore. But you know how to look in HAR and find the listing brokers information, everybody? Because we don't have it up anymore. I won't pull it up. Y'all good with finding that information? People in the, everybody still here?
Would I have to go to Trek for that or what?
You would have to go to HAR. So
Oh, horror. Okay.
yeah, let me, hold on. This thing stopped popping up here. I'm just trying to get that out the way. What I do? What was the address? Anybody remember? What was the address?
Oh,
I think we
Property
did.
address.
Yeah, you see all this already changed.
5234 Pomander.
Is it 5234?
Yeah. 52.
Pomander?
Mm-hmm.
That's the address.
Something else. Something else, not, this Michael setup, so I don't know how you have your search. All right, there we go. So to find out the information we need, it's all right here. So like I said, I use my camera phone a lot to just take pictures of things so I can not have to remember all this, but here's the listing agent. Here's our broker. Click on this. This will give you the listing agent's name.
Okay, your screen's not showing, but so I just click on where I'm at horror, the list broker, and
He
then
said it's not showing again, Jess.
it should pop up right.
He said it's not showing to everybody. I'm seeing me.
Oh, it says you are sharing your screen. I don't know why.
Jamal, are you the only one? Valerie, you have it?
I'm okay, yeah, I got it. Never mind.
Okay. All right, cool. So what I did was I was in HAR right here, and then this over on this side is the listing agent name. So I would get his name, his email. You're gonna need that phone number, address, and then you're gonna need the broker information. In order to get either one of their license numbers, you just click on their name, and it's gonna pull up the license number. Okay. And that's both ways if you need the agent name. So all of that is gonna go right here. So we have the broker name, which is Carlos Garcia Realty. And then it's gonna ask you for the broker license, and you click on there to get the broker license. Come on. Technology making me wait on it. All right, so broker name, selling agent's name, email address, phone number, the office address that's listed in HAR, the phone number, city, all of that. The selling agent associate is not anything you have to fill out. It pretty much becomes you in HAR, which is weird to me, but that's where you'll see you're the seller's agent on the buyer side. Down here is listing broker has agreed to pay other broker 3%. We don't do 2% deals. We are worth more than that. All right, so we're done with that part of the contract. The next part would be done by title. I just want to go over it real quick. Once you go to the title company and you drop off the earnest money, the title company will send you this portion back saying that they received and opened up title. They receive this amount at this address and they're gonna sign it and send it to you. The option fee receipt is gonna be returned to you by the seller's agent. Once you either mail it off, ask them where do they want you to drop it off at. I believe the new rule again has been that you can drop it off at the title company. Didn't they just pass that, Jess? They started it up again. Look, I was super excited. That's all I remember. So if you have the option to drop it off at the title company, ask them. I believe they're starting to accept that again, but a couple of years ago, they used to accept it. So it was a one-stop shop. If not, earnest money goes to the title company. Option fee the seller pretty much has to tell you, leave it at the house. I'll come pick it up, meet me here. There's no rules to how that option fee money will get to their client, just so y'all know. All right, so we done with the 1 to 4. I ain't mean to take so long. What'd you say, Jamal?
So I had missed one part. I think it was page 5, where the possessions. Which one did you click, or did you not click on any of it? Buyer's possession.
Page 5.
Yes, number 10.
Upon closing and funding. So that just means that as soon as you close, your client is there signing the papers, seller came in, they signed the papers. You want the keys as soon as everybody gets paid.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions, y'all? All right, we're gonna go through the homeowner association addendum real quick. All right, so the address is populating. The name of the homeowner association, if there was one, would be on HAR in the section. I want to get one. Hold on, y'all. No, that ain't one. Why did I put address in here? All right, so this right here it says lease and additional information because it seems like this is a lease, but for the sake of what we're talking about, this is gonna be the same area that you would find the homeowner association information too. So it'll say property management or homeowner association, their name would be right there, and you put just their phone number, and that's all you need for the third-party financial addendum. I don't have a face for a camera because everything I'm thinking coming out. Let's see. All right. So that's all you need is the address, the name and the phone number, and then you're good on there. So what this is that, when you have a homeowner association, they have all these rules and regulations and things you can't do, and they want to make sure you get that document that says you can't do it. Most times, if the client want to have it, there's a fee. You can call them, ask them what the fee is, and then put that on here for you, your buyer, and the seller to split it because they want it delivered and your client wants to receive it. So they can split it, or your buyer just has to pay for it. I've never had a buyer ever want to pay for that because once they get to the house and they start speaking to the neighbors and then they call the association themselves, they usually send it to them for free, to be honest with you. So for the sake of this, we can check buyer does not require delivery of subdivision information. There is going to be like some information for them to, they transfer over from the seller's name to the buyer name. That cost is about $250. We're going to be pro buyer and we always want the seller to pay for it. And it says it except as provided by paragraph A, D, and E, buyer shall pay and all association fees or charges associated with the transfer of the property not to exceed $250, and the seller shall pay. So this is pretty much saying for me that the seller is only going to pay $250, and if it costs $500, they both going to split it. Then you have Buyer shall pay the title company the cost of obtaining. Okay, so this is where you have either buyer or seller, and in some ways you can put both of them. So this means they're gonna split it. So if it's just the buyer, that's what you choose, and if it's gonna be both of them, you choose that. Most of the time we split it. All right, any question about that form? All right. This last form is gonna be the third-party financial addendum. So you have options here. You have conventional, you have the Texas Veteran Loan, so that's the VA, and then you have FHA. Those options there. This gets a little tricky. The document and numbers don't have to be exact. So just to let you know, don't sweat it too hard, just get it filled out. The most important thing about this document is gonna be what type of loan they have, which is either a conventional, so you check in that box for conventional, and the way you tell where you get that information is gonna be from your pre-approval. If the pre-approval does not have it on there, you need to call because you're sending that pre-approval over to that seller's agent. I just lost a property because my client wanted to use VA, but they could have went conventional too. So always know what kind of loan your client is using. And now going forward, I'm gonna ask what are all their options?
Yes.
So I'll know when I talk to somebody, I can say, hey, if you don't like this loan, we can still do this other loan too. All right. So this just means number one, first mortgage. This means they have one mortgage. This is the amount of the mortgage, excluding the PMI due in full. Usually you're doing a 30-year loan. It's not to exceed, I say 1%. Just what you put right there. Do you do 1%? Yeah, I just copy it every year. So I put 1% on there. T, did you do something different?
I used to put 2%. I used to put 2%.
Okay, so Mike, thank you. You do 2%. I do 1. Just, you remember? Okay, so we're gonna go with broker who done popped in. I didn't know he was here.
Either one of them works. Like, you know,
No,
these
that's
just
good. Like I
recommendations.
said, these numbers are really not set in stone or anything. It's kind of just letting them know there is a financial institution involved. This is a track legal form document. That's it. All right, so then you got for pre-annum for the first, how many years you put here, Mike? There you go again.
Hold on. I put 30 years.
Yeah, okay. I put 30 as well. So that's the 30-year. We're talking about a 30-year loan. If your client is trying to do a 15-year loan, then you put 15 years, 15 years. Okay, and here I do 1% here. You do 1, I do 1% here. All right, so it's basically just saying that the loan is not, I don't really know what this is. It's something, it's just say, hey, 1%, y'all. If anybody ever have any questions,
Lisa,
what's going on?
Lisa.
Huh?
Hey, Lisa, let me jump in there though. Let me jump in there now. So now that I'm looking at it, because I wasn't looking at the screen earlier, where it says doing full 30 years with interest not to exceed, you got to put more than 2% because, you know, depending on what their interest rate is. So if their interest rate's a 3 or 4%, you got to put that there.
Okay.
I thought we were talking about the origination fee. That's why I used 2%.
Okay. All right. So whatever they're.
So I don't know, but look, y'all tell me. Like I don't know what the interest rates are going on right now. So like, are they 2.5%? Like what are people getting?
Yes, there are 2.5. It's low.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, gotcha.
So this is the interest rate. Am I talking loud, y'all?
You can.
So this is the interest rate. Basically, you'll find that information on your pre-approval. And then the 2% is, like I said, I put 1, Mike put 2% of the loan. I'll have to go and ask somebody for a great explanation of this, to be honest with you. I do want to find out for myself now that I'm teaching it. So we'll get that. And then the first mortgage principal amount. So this is the amount that they're financing. That's the amount they're financing. So if you go back to the document we had earlier for the house 1 to 4, shoot, it deleted it. So you basically would put the amount that's right here, the amount that they're financing. This is their financial amount. So what was that? Do y'all remember? Y'all still have it on there? Because, you know, mine's went out. Yeah, it was 8,000. Okay. So basically that would be whatever the price is minus the 8,000 that they're gonna put in, like 2 something. All right, and that's it. So that's for conventional loans. Veteran loans, you do, okay, good. So the amount of the financing side of it, just the amount of the financing side and excluding your down payment, and then 5 years. Is that what you said, Jess? That's not a percentage though. Yeah, that's not a percentage. For a period in the total amount of 5 years in interest rate. That's 30. That's still 30. Is that 30, Mike?
Yeah, that's 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
okay.
30.
Okay.
Let's go to Veterans Land Board. Most of them not really probably gonna use that
I'm
product.
sorry. I'm on the wrong one, y'all. VA. I'm talking about VA though. That's why I just got it confused. Yeah. So that's not it. That's the land, y'all. That's not the VA. Excuse me. So FHA. FHA insured loan, usually on the loan pre-approval, you'll see, it'll say exactly what the loan is. Normally it's something, maybe a F30, but it should say it on the pre-approval. And this is still the amount that is going to be financed. I think we had like 261 or something like that. That's the amount that's gonna be financed. Amortizable monthly for not less than, I do 30 years. Anybody else do something different? I mean, if they have a 15-year or 30-year, that's where you put that. And then if they, you still do the, whatever the interest rate is right here. So if it's 2.5, and if it's a 30-year loan, and then here's, we're still doing the 2%. So it's the same. Pretty much same for a VA, the amount that's being financed. So you said you put 5% under the interest for a VA? VA is 0, isn't it? Do they have it? They have, it's 0, Mike? For VA?
The down payment is 0.
Okay, so.
The down payment is 0, but what the interest rate is whatever they pre-approval say.
2.5, and then it's gonna be a 30-year or 15, and it's still not to exceed. So it's all pretty much the same. You have any questions?
No.
My onion's getting to you. My onion's getting to you. No, I had the onions earlier. No. I can taste them. All right, y'all got any questions about that? Jamal?
I'm good.
Huh? None.
I think you did an excellent job, Lisa.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll do this naturally. So yeah, I appreciate the compliment.
I can lead the trainers all the time.
All right, we got one more page. So right here, last page. Look, I'm trying to hurry up and get over there. All right, so right here, approval of financing. The contract is subject to buyer obtaining buyer approval. If the buyer cannot obtain buyer approval, buyer may give written notice to the seller within how many days? If the buyer can't obtain approval. So we're talking about when they actually trying to go through the process of the loan, going through underwriting. I give them 20 days. Broker, you give them how many days?
I give them as many as I can get because that's a contingency period. So I speak to the lender and say, hey, look, how long is it going to take to get this loan closed? And if they tell me, oh, I can get it done in 25 days, then first of all, I don't trust them. I usually do like 5 days before the closing date. So if they say I can get it done in 25 days, and I may do like a 30-day or 35-day close, and then I had a contingency period be like 30 days.
Okay. All right, so so in the case of this, we're talking about 28 days, so we probably can do like 25 right now, just to, because it's actually, when he said
Right.
contingency, it gives your buyer an option. If they don't secure the loan, they can still get out of the contract. So we always need it to be contingent on them getting the loan, because if you don't check this option and they don't get the loan, your buyer still will have to pay for this house out of no money.
Or they lose their earnest money.
Yeah, that too. They gonna lose court too, don't they go to court for this? Can't they send them to court for that? I thought they could go.
Well, no, what I'm saying is if that protects, that right there protects if they don't get qualified for the loan, that they can get their earnest money back. But if they go past, say we go past that date, and then they find out they can't get qualified for the loan, then at that point, they forfeit their earnest money. Or their earnest money is at risk.
All right. Y'all got it? Any questions? All right, so this contract is not subject to buyer obtaining approval. There's no option for that. We're never gonna choose that. Why would you choose that? I'm trying to think. There would be no reason. All right. The next one is for only FHA. So this just means that it's for FHA and VA. And so it's just saying right here, setting forth the appraisal value of the property. So say the property, you're paying for the property $269, and say the property comes back at, not comes back, but basically comes back at $260. Right here, we're just saying that whatever we're paying for the property, it has to come back at that price in order for us to proceed. If it doesn't come back at that price, then we go back into negotiations. Is that right?
You have the option, right?
Okay.
If the property does not appraise, then the buyer has the option to terminate the contract. Like the seller cannot force them to move forward if it does not appraise. Now, in most instances, we go back into negotiation, but the buyer doesn't have to. They can just walk away completely, according to this clause. But now, keep in mind, it only works for FHA, and that's because I made this mistake before. This clause only works if it's an FHA loan or a VA loan. If you have a conventional loan, there's a completely separate form that you have to fill out to have that appraisal protection. If you don't fill that form out, then if it's a conventional loan and it doesn't appraise, and you don't fill that form out, then the buyer is not protected. They can lose their earnest money. Like they can't use it not appraising as a reason to terminate the contract.
Cool. So everything must praise. This gives your buyer a little more security. And we got a buyer we're working with right now that thinks that, they scared of the appraisal, and you let them know, hey, this right here is how we're protecting you. So move forward.
Can I get that form for because my client has a conventional loan.
Okay, so it's this one. It's the same one. Third party financial addendum.
Oh, and I just.
No, it's a different one, Lisa. He's gonna need that. Sorry, I didn't hear everything. It's another one.
For what?
All right, so when you have a conventional loan, to get that appraisal protection, there's another form that's in there that he has to fill out. I don't know the name of it though. We gotta search for it.
Now, was this in 1980 or 2021? Just you use that form? A form as a contingency form for conventional loans for the buyer to get out? Is it, you never use? I've never used it, y'all. So it may be something.
Type in appraisal. Type in appraisal. You got 2 A's in there.
I'll spell it right, because I don't spell shit right.
All right, that was it right there. No, that was it. Go back. It pulled it up. All right. Addendum concerning right to terminate. Click on that one. So open that one up.
Mm-hmm.
So addendum concerning right to terminate due to lender's appraisal. That's the form you got to use if it's a conventional loan.
Okay, got it.
All right, see right here, it says does not.
See, like if you read,
MBA.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. So if y'all not using that form, y'all better start using that form for y'all conventional loans.
Indeed. I've been lucky.
Right.
All right, so
And so just to make sure I'm on the right, I'm clicking 3, right? Additional right to terminate, or
Yeah, it should be 3. Yeah.
okay.
okay, so right to terminate, and then buyer may terminate within, we still on, the appraisal should come back probably like usually within a couple of days of the closing. So we could possibly put 25 on here, given the longest time possible. Appraisers are very scarce right now, so we definitely want to give the longest amount of time before the closing. And then right here, it looks like you put the appraisal value. So
How
that's,
about yourself?
what's that? That's the appraisal value. So for this sake, the appraisal value needs to be the total price of the house. So this house is 269. That's how much we needed to appraise for, whatever asking price is. 269. So 269.5, whatever the asking price, whatever you're offering, including the down payment, that's what you want to put right here. So that house has to appraise for 269.5 over, or we're not gonna buy it. Say it come back at 267, that's when you go back into negotiations. Because if you don't go back into negotiations, in addition to your client having to pay the down payment, whatever the difference is on that appraisal is what they're gonna have to pay as well. You gotta mute your mic, Mike. All right. No, we can hear you, that's all. Okay, any questions about that? While Mike is on the phone.
No.
No? Anybody else? All right. So that really concludes everything, y'all. We did the 1 to 4, we did the property mandatory, and we did.
Can we go back to that? It locked me out at Texas Realtors. Can we go to the amendum property one right quick?
Mhm.
I just need to know which one would,
So you got to get the address, the name of the property management company, or the HOA, their phone number. We checked that the buyer did not want the subdivision information. We checked, this is how much standard that I've really never gone over. That's how much it is for them to transfer from the seller's name to the buyer's name, and they're gonna split it. Because the seller wants it out of their name and the buyer needs it, I make them split it. Or, whoever you want to have pay for it.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions, y'all?
Nope, that's it for me.